Hello, everybody, and welcome to the blackbosschannel.com. I'm here today with, for real, man, if we're going to be honest, Clyburn, bro, like you're one, at least when I was coming up, we're the same age,
Yeah.
and you were one of the best football players I had ever seen. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, that's
Oh,
not just saying that because you here, but I'm talking to Deontay Clyburn. And for those of you who don't know who this man is, he and I are both from the city of Louisville,
yeah.
and growing up, from little league through college. I mean, just be honest, he was one of the best players in the city. Like during that time, from that, what was that, 2009 on through, your college days. I guess 2009 is like start of high school. Like the man was the best player in little league. He was one of the best players in the city in high school at St. X, and then got a D1 multiple scholarships, but went on to play at Colorado State. So I can't. I'm just going to give him his flowers while he's here. And we are here today to talk about some other great football players. So welcome in Deontay Clyburn from Louisville, Kentucky. How's it going, brother?
It's going pretty well, man. I love how you big me up. But let's not take anything away from what you're doing, man. This is an excellent you got going on. I know we mentioned earlier, talking a little bit about it. But man, right now I think I'm dealing with quarantine pretty well.
Okay.
I love what went on during the football season. I know we said we're gonna speak on that and get into that a little bit. But right now, I would like to say I coached the entire time during quarantine at St. Xavier High School.
Okay.
Coached the linebackers. Really good group of guys. We had a decent season. Finished up. Ended up losing to Trinity, the state champs. And, that's a bitter rivalry. But while dealing with all of that during quarantine and figuring out how to adjust or whatnot, taking care of my daughter, the big thing. That's number one. And then two, my Pro Life podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, where we speak about the struggles and success of people, living an everyday life, specifically focusing on those after college, that post grad life that don't nobody really tell you about, or that's gonna hit you, that wall that hits. And for those who don't think it's gonna hit, it will hit at some point, because you got to figure out what you really want to do with your life. What are you really passionate about? And I like to focus on my podcast mostly to everybody, not just those who used to play football or basketball or soccer or whatever sport may be, but just those that succeed in different facets of life. And
Absolutely.
you don't have to just wear a jersey just to be on the field. You're wearing a jersey every day. In this pro life thing. We fighting just to live out here. So I love it, man. How you been?
I'm pretty good, man. I can't complain at all. I just like you said, dealing with quarantine, dealing with the growing of our channel, and just trying to make it as best as possible. Trying to get on some great guests like yourself to talk about some great topics like what we got today, and supporting each other, because that's the only way we are going to be able to succeed as high as possible is by supporting each other throughout everything. So that's awesome. So Clyburn, today we are talking about the best black quarterbacks that we've ever seen. So this was sparked by a tweet that I saw. It was put out by the Undefeated, ESPN's The Undefeated, and they listed the 12 best black quarterbacks of the 21st century. So what they did is they went through and just, I guess they polled their staff or whatever, and they took the best 12 names. Now, we don't have to stretch it out to 12, but I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see what I'm talking about. And let me see. They shared the 12 best, and I got something to say about this list, because I wasn't the best. I wasn't too crazy about the list, but I understood it, right? So here's the 12 best quarterbacks according to The Undefeated by ESPN. It's got Patrick Mahomes at number 1, Russell Wilson 2, Steve McNair 3, Donovan McNabb 4, Cam Newton 5, Lamar 6, Vic 7, Dak 8, Deshaun Watson 9, Culpepper, Kaepernick, and Cordell Stewart to round out the 12. So, Clyburn, when you seen this list, what was your initial thoughts of the 12 best quarterbacks throughout the history of the NFL and what ESPN had to say?
Now, I understand Patrick Mahomes has a championship, and, he's doing excellent and, monumental things at a young age. He's black, and he's changing the game and reinvented just like Steph Curry did in the NBA. So it's a nice little transparency going on. But having him number 1 is blasphemy, man. We got
it's blasphemy. Tell me why.
It's blasphemous right now. We gotta we got to uphold the tradition. We got to give our black quarterbacks the flowers, man. And I understand whatever transpired in between, Michael Vick's career where he was with the, former teams and going here and there. But what he did for the community, what he did for, football in general, not saying that Ron Cunningham and Dante Culpepper, they wasn't there before, but nobody had a stranglehold on the culture like Michael Vick did.
Yeah.
You want the cleats?
Yeah. No, I had the Vic cleats. I definitely had the Vic cleats.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a Jordan.
Yeah. No, I had the Vic cleats. I wanted the Vic swag, all of that. Like, I get what you're saying. Like,
exactly. And I'm not gonna sit here and take away from what Russell Wilson does because he's special night in and night out. Absolutely. Since he's been in the league. So I'm gonna go with, for my number one, I gotta go with Vic just because of what he did.
Yeah.
And how he came in, and even what he did when he came in as a freshman at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
He came in and I think got down on the bench, did 315 as a freshman at quarterback.
Yeah.
So this is it.
That's insane. No, Vic is definitely up there. For those of you who don't know, they had Vic ranked. ESPN had Vic ranked number 7, like his jersey number, and not number 1. Clyburn's got Vic number 1. I get why they put Mahomes 1 because if we're going strictly off of like accomplishments and stats or whatever, like Mahomes fits the box. Like he's got the Super Bowl win, he's got an MVP, he's got another Super Bowl appearance, he's got another AFC Championship appearance. So like all of that, like that's tough. Like that's tough, G. Like to come through your first 3 years starting. Essentially, you've been to the Super Bowl twice, the AFC Championship game, and got a Super Bowl MVP and a regular season MVP. That is tough. Like
that's tough to compete with.
No, yeah. So I get why they have him number 1, even though the man's only been starting for 3 years. Like you saying he's the best black quarterback.
I want to see some longevity, and his accomplishments and accolades doesn't hold weight right now. But if we talk about accomplishments and accolades, and we throwing in longevity as well, then why isn't Russell Wilson above him?
Ooh, well, Russ don't got the Super Bowl MVP though, do he? Like Russ don't. Like Mahomes got a regular season MVP and a Super Bowl MVP. That is like that. The reason why he's number 1 is because he's got more hardware already in 3 years than everybody on this list. Like the man got more hardware than everybody. Like Vic, McNair, Cam, Lamar, like these guys got like individual awards, but none of these guys besides him and Russ got Super Bowls. And then nobody else got, a few of them got MVPs, but nobody has a Super Bowl besides Russ. And then Russ don't got the Super Bowl MVP. And Mahomes only been starting 3 years.
And that's why you're giving it. That's how you're giving it to him.
Well, that's why they gave it to him, and that's why I'm giving it to him. Yeah,
so I'm sitting here looking at all the weapons that the man has on his arsenal, and that's true. That's true. It's not like he had the spectacular, beautiful career run to the Super Bowl. Not saying that him not getting there is not, not doesn't mean anything. But from what I'm looking at, and he did perform exceptionally well. He always was the comeback kid. He always makes a statement. He doesn't really come out the gate swinging as he usually does in the regular season games, as I would like to see. But Patrick Mahomes is definitely the number 1 quarterback in the league right now. But I'm just going off of history and what he did for the game. I have to go Vic in my heart. I was engulfed by what he bought, and then I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna go Mahomes number 2, and then Russell Wilson number 3.
What? Yeah,
I agree with you because of that Super Bowl MVP and that accolade. Since they're both playing right now, you can't. It's hard to put him over. Now, who's your? I don't want to call him mid-tier guys because these are exceptional athletes.
Okay, yeah. So like, I don't know if you're looking at my paper. I always like on these broadcasts. I always take a bunch of notes, right? Like, so I have the undefeateds list, I have Jeff's list, and then I have my favorite list. So, So it's this is I'm really weird about this kind of stuff. So like the undefeated list, I'm looking at it compared to my list.
You say I literally have my NFL book that I was looking at earlier. Right?
Yeah.
This was holding up the goddamn phone right now. But
yeah. So I get it. So like I have like the super weird. And my favorite list. So let me go through. Let me be clear. These are the list of the guys I think are better. Mine differentiates from the undefeateds list, right? So they have Mahomes, Russ, McNabb, Cam. Those are the top 5. That ain't my top 5. I do have Mahomes and Russ as 1 and 2 as like the best out of the best football players. Like if all these guys is in a prime of their career and I got to pick one first, I'm picking Mahomes first. I don't care what my weapons is like, my defense and nothing. I'm picking Russ second. But third, I'm picking Steve McNair, and
Okay.
then I'm picking Lamar. So I got 4 guys before I get to Cam, then Vic. I'm picking Cam, like a prime Cam. I'm picking over Vic. Huh?
I can't agree.
What? Like, why not? So what's wrong with my list if I'm taking Lamar and Cam Newton before I take Vic?
I love and Steve McNair. I'm gonna give him the head nod. Definitely.
Yeah, no, Steve McNair is I'm taking him over Vic. I'm taking McNair over Vic, and I'm taking Cam over Vic. A healthy prime Cam, I'm taking over Michael Vick. I'm not saying that that's the smartest move or that's the right one, but that's what I think.
Steve McNair over Cam Newton?
Yes. A healthy prime. I'm taking Air McNair because of the way the rules are set up now, and the way that everything is, and the way he could throw the ball and his accuracy and stuff like that. The man won co-MVP with Peyton Manning, right? The man took the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. The Tennessee Titans to the Super Bowl, and they was 1 yard away from winning the Super Bowl. This is that Steve McNair. Like, yes, I'm taking him over Cam.
HBCU.
Huh?
Not to mention what he did in college at HBCU.
Exactly, and he was taken in a first half of the first round from Alcorn State. That's
he was
tough.
up for the Heisman debate at Alcorn State.
Yes, come on. Who's doing that? This is before Deion's the coach. Like HBCUs now are like getting a huge, big like spotlight, right? Because Deion's a coach, and just the movement that's taking place in America. McNair was doing this in like the late 80s, in the early 90s, and was doing all of that from the HBCU, lighting it up, Alcorn State, and the man like it's tough.
In the Heisman race.
Come on, like it's tough. Like that is crazy. So that I'm taking him.
We can't disregard what Cam Newton had. What Cam Newton did. He was at Florida, went through adversity at Florida, whatever that situation was. Went to the junior college, won championships at the junior college, left the junior college, then went to Auburn. And let's not forget that the famous Ivory Bowl, where he brought Auburn back
24-0. They was down 24-0.
Single-handedly. Brought Auburn back. The man is 6'6" and he's 260 and plays quarterback.
And runs a 4.5.
It's hard, and it's hard to defeat Superman.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's
hard
to defeat Superman. A good Superman with a good offensive line to block for him.
He's tough. No, he's tough. But I just think the passing, we still got to take the pass, and Cam Newton's only completed over 60% of his passes like twice in his career. Like twice, that matters. And especially when we put in Steve McNair in today's game. Like McNair in today's game would light it up. This man was ahead of his time. The man, just like a Warren Moon. Now, I see a lot of comments about Warren Moon, right? Like Warren Moon was tough. Warren Moon was really good. But I think the way they did it, I think the cutoff age had taken Warren Moon off. If we're adding Warren Moon, I think I'm going to still take – I would probably take him if I'm just saying like off talent, I'd probably take him before McNair. So it'd be Mahomes, Russ, then Warren Moon. If we're doing it like that, like right?
Warren Moon.
Huh?
You said Mahomes, Russ, Warren Moon?
Yes. What you thinking? What you thinking? You looking like, nah, man, that ain't it. You looking like that ain't it. Was it? How far does Warren Moon slide on your list? Because it don't look like it's number 3.
I like, because if we doing it that way, man, regardless of whatever his career was, Randall Cunningham is. Randall Cunningham was way before his time.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was a tall, slippery guy, is what they like. A tall, slender type of athletic guy. Surprisingly athletic, but not really surprisingly athletic if you look at his body build. And the thing he was doing in his day is that's hard too.
Yeah,
because Warren Moon definitely deserves his due. Definitely deserves his due. And I don't want to get mistaken, but it definitely was Warren Moon that was in the CFL for a few years.
He had to win a bunch of championships in the CFL before they let him be the quarterback in the NFL, right? Like, so it wasn't cool to have like black quarterbacks in the league. And he had to go to the CFL, win I think he might have won 6 championships in the CFL. Yeah. And then got back to the NFL and played till he was in his 40s, right? Like, so how Brady's killing in his 40s, he wasn't, at that level winning Super Bowl, but he was tough. Like after spending 6 years in the CFL or more than 6, winning 6 championships, the man was tough. So that is like my best player list, right? It goes Mahomes, Russ, McNair, Lamar, Cam, Vic, McNabb, Watson, Dak, Cap. That was like my top 10. But my favorite list, now that's different. These are the guys that are my favorite to watch. Like when I cut on the TV, these are the dudes I'm cutting on first in this order.
In this
It's
order.
Lamar. Lamar's number one. Lamar is number one. Then Vic. Then Deshaun Watson. Then Cam.
Okay,
Then Russ.
let's get into it. Let's get into it because I'm gonna go out on record and say this. I'm going on the limb and say this. And I don't know who's going to defend me out here.
I feel like you better say something crazy, so let me brace myself.
I would love to see Deshaun Watson in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform.
Ooh, that would be nice. That would be nice. Just speaking on that, Pittsburgh, in my opinion, has screwed themselves with the whole Ben Roethlisberger thing. Like they screwed themselves.
Okay.
So like that, they're not going to get Deshaun Watson because they're handicapped to Big Ben. So you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, I was just going out on the limb saying that is. I feel like that is a game-changing pickup. Whoever picks him up, that's a game-changing pickup. Because if you look at our division alone and the quarterbacks that's in our division, with Lamar, Joe Burrows, Baker Mayfield, this is an up-and-coming. Oh man, it's hard to look at sometimes as a Pittsburgh fan because you know our defense is going to hold up. But how long can your defense hold up without putting points on the board consistently and showing up when the chips fall? And not saying Big Ben hasn't before, but is his time up?
I mean, it should be. I mean, it's about damn time. Like, yeah, it should be. But they kind of screwed themselves because, first of all, his cap is $41 million.
Oh yeah,
that's ugly. Second of all, every time they draft a quarterback, even though it might not be like the heir apparent, right? Like whether it was Josh Dobbs or Mason Rudolph or whoever, Big Ben never embraced them. Like he was never like, yo, like you know what I'm saying? I'm 38, I'm 37, I'm 36, I'm 30 years, huh?
Does Aaron Rodgers embrace every quarterback that they pick up?
They never really went out and got a quarterback until they went and got Love. Now that was different. They screwed up when they did that. The man go 13-3 and you draft a quarterback first round. Like that was just come on.
What did that say?
That's saying they think you're done. That's saying they think you're done. If you go ahead and draft a quarterback in the first round, they think you're done. So that's why Aaron Rodgers kind of pissed off. Ben Roethlisberger has been hurt a lot. He's been, he's been in and out of lineup, and then his arm looks like a noodle. They throw 5-yard routes every play, and then a lot of them dudes drop the ball.
Our protection was, suspect this year. We didn't have a good running game.
Okay, I give you that. Well, they didn't even try to run the ball though. They didn't even try. Did Pittsburgh even try? They even try to run the ball.
Yes, we tried.
No,
we would try with James Conner and Benny Snell. Things would go down. Things would get thrown out there. Options would get thrown out there, but nothing really sufficient and nothing successful. So that's where they would come, and we would throw quick passes because we have those good receivers that can get it out there. And sometimes Ben would overcompensate, I would say, and try to get the ball out a little bit too early or try to do too much when he doesn't really need to. And, sometimes his arm did look like a noodle. I'm not going to lie to you there. He had Phillip Rivers moments. Here's
the thing. When Pittsburgh, I hate to tell you this because you're a Steelers fan. Pittsburgh, when they was 11-0, nobody was scared of Pittsburgh. Like, nobody really thought, like, oh, this team will win a Super Bowl. Like, nobody was. Like, I don't know, to be honest. I'm a Raiders fan, so I don't got much to talk. But I'm just saying, like, when y'all was 11-0, nobody really thought Pittsburgh was going to win a Super Bowl. I'm going to just be honest. Like, it's just.
What was the reason for this?
Well, because you just wasn't scared of the team didn't scare you, right? Brady and them, like even when they were struggling, he was like, they got so much firepower. Like I know eventually they're gonna get it together. The Chiefs, even though they were sleepwalking through the regular season, he was like, I know what they can do because I've seen it before. The Bills in Buffalo, even though I'm not a Josh Allen guy, even in Buffalo, you were like, man, that team is beating the hell out of teams, right? Like, so they look kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? I don't even like Josh Allen, but they look kind of scary. And Pittsburgh was like, oh, they're 11-0, but, like kind of like the hate that people give Lamar Jackson right now. Even though when they win all these games, because he hasn't had the success in the playoffs, nobody's really buying into it, right or wrong, whether they should be or not, because of Lamar's lack of success in the playoffs. People, they could go, start the season off 11-0, 12-0 next year. And folks be like, okay, forget all of that. We now care about what you do in the postseason. We don't care what you do in the regular season anymore. That's like the stigma that you get when you've been successful, right? Like when you're the Browns and you don't win nothing for 20 years, 30 years, and then you win some games, people kind of like, okay, we kind of hype. Like we loving it. But when you Lamar and Pittsburgh and all these teams, you're like, okay, we seen you win a bunch of regular season games before. What are you going to do in the playoffs? And that's why, like, right or wrong, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Like we're at that place right now in the quarterback list where we got to start talking about Lamar. Now, this is my question.
Number one favorite. Absolutely. Yeah, let's go for it.
Question for you then. Now, how monumental will you say that Lamar's career and his impact, how do you say that changed the trajectory of what Louisville football is in the city, or how people look at Louisville football in the city, of what he did? Because the man won Heisman here.
Yeah.
And that's not take away anything from what Vance Bedford and Charlie Strong did with that defense.
Yeah.
And what they did when they brought their coaching staff up here and reinvented everything, how we see football at Louisville. But how big was Lamar's impact on the city of Louisville, and really just how he carried over into the league, and how we're having this conversation now that he's already in the top 5 conversation of quarterbacks ever.
Yeah. So Lamar, the reason why Lamar is so unique, besides the fact that he's like the best athlete every time he steps out on the floor, and that's like never the case for a quarterback, right? Like we've had some really good athletic, and besides Vic. Once you get past Vic, but Vic and Lamar like a 20-year gap, right? Like, so like besides Vic, there was never been a time we see a quarterback step on the field and say, dang, he's the best athlete on the field. You can add the DBs, you can add the safeties and the linebackers and everybody, the running backs. This man better, like he makes those dudes look slow, right? Like he puts those dudes have him in a box. You a linebacker, bro. You know how hard it is to tackle an elusive kind of person. Like, and Lamar is the best.
That's the hardest person to field on the field. Once the play breaks down and there's nothing else you can do, there's one person that's not accounted for. And if you look into the grand scheme of things, everybody's looking around trying to figure out what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
He makes the decision. Everybody reacts off of him. Now he's the best athlete on the field. How do you compensate?
You don't. Man, you can't. Like you can't. You have to like no way. I mean, it's impossible. The only way the way teams get them is that they play these zone coverages, right? Like you know, I mean, you know about football way more than me, but they play these like zones, right? And have him. They try to keep him in contain, right, as best you can, because you can't really do it completely, but contain him as best you can and throw zone at him and make him like make his reads. Right. And if the dudes are dropping it, because Baltimore love to drop the damn ball, when they dropping the passes, it ain't nothing you can do. I mean, Lamar can be as great as he wants to be, but when you dropping passes, there's nothing you can do. So that's why like they tend to struggle at times.
They stink some weeks, man.
Huh?
They stink some weeks, don't they?
I mean, the receiving core is don't even give me. I can go off on that for 30 minutes, man. How Hollywood Brown talks about begging for the ball. Huh?
The draft needs for Baltimore.
Huh? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like you need to draft a receiver. You have to draft a receiver, and you got to figure out the tackle situation because you're about to lose one of the best. Because the Baltimore, one thing I will say, they have a really good offensive line. But when Stanley went out, they had to put Orlando Brown at left tackle, and he was like really good, right? So now he wants to be a left tackle. He's like, I ain't going back to the right side. So they got to figure that out. But hopefully they can work it out.
Go back.
Huh? Exactly. Like left tackle make all the money. They make all the money, and I'm good. Like Stanley is just happened to be one of the best in the league, and Orlando Brown moved over there and happened to be one of the best in the league. So you got two of the best left tackles in the league on one team, and they're gonna have to work that out. But as far as Lamar, like you talk about his impact on Louisville, like as a city. So Lamar was so special. Well, the reason why, besides the fact that he's the best athlete, right, like on the field at all times, but it's the fact that he reminds you of us, right? We played in the West End Football League. He reminds you of somebody you played football with. Like the dude is unapologetically black. Like he's gonna go up there with the sniper gang chains. He's gonna go up there with the little twist. He's gonna go up there with, like, not to say that is anything wrong with Russell Wilson, the way he does it, or the way Patrick Mahomes does it, or there's nothing wrong with that. But he sounds like us. He acts like us. He dressed like us. And it's like, bro, like that is super dope. The same aspect that you talk about, Vic, Lamar is that for this generation, right? Like Lamar is that. And it just so happened that he played at Louisville. And so for the people that watch Louisville growing up, that Louisville fans and all this stuff, you like, damn, like, gee, he reminds me of somebody that played for the Yellow Jackets. I played for the Flagler Rams or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why it was so cool to see that, because he was doing all of that at the quarterback position. Like he did all it, and that's the thing. Like the quarterback position is held in this high praise and gave him this esteem and gave this prestige. And Lamar was all of that himself and still balled on the field and didn't get in any trouble. He didn't have any trouble. He didn't have any women problems, any drug problems. He wasn't Johnny Manziel. He wasn't Baker Mayfield. Like this dude handled his business. He just reminded you of you. Like he just reminded you of you.
every time I look at him in the league, every time I'm watching football, I mean, you know, he went to Louisville.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you know he went to Louisville and graduated from the University of Louisville. So it's kind of it's crazy to see him in the league right now doing what he's doing. I won't say it's crazy. Actually, I won't say it's expected.
Yeah. No, I mean, the man did win a Heisman, and that's the thing.
To us, because he's doing superhuman things.
Yeah.
He's making it look extremely easy. But if you go back to his house, that one highlight where he walks into the end and flies.
Yeah.
You know, that's either the man's special.
Yeah.
Back to the list.
Back to the list. So I had Lamar, Vic, Watt. Those are like so Vic and Lamar, they reminded me of the same player, right? I just think Vic paved the way for Lamar, and Lamar honestly has now paved the way for every other quarterback. Because think about when Lamar came into the league. Remember what they were saying? Yeah. They said you had to be a receiver. He's got to convert to running back. He's never going to be a quarterback. And now every single quarterback that gets drafted is able to move. They're able to. You got to be mobile now. Like they got 5 quarterbacks they think is going to go in the first round. And there's only one that doesn't move, that ain't agile, and that's Mac Jones, and that's because his team just blew everybody up winning championship.
Alabama.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, besides that, now I think Lamar Jackson, his play, Russell Wilson play, like the fact that they move around, the fact that they scramble, the fact that they make dudes miss consistently has now paved that way for young dudes to come into this league and be able to run around and get drafted. Kyler Murray's one of the same. Like, he's also the same.
He's the next one.
Who was that?
Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He just had, and like the weapons that he had, how good him and DeAndre Hopkins was together. I feel like his threshold, his ceiling, he really doesn't have one, especially just like what you said, though, how the league is changing. How the league is like, offenses are starting now to shape their offenses around what fits the molds of the quarterback that they draft.
Yeah.
Or the molds of the quarterback, or what the head coach really sees his offense is running.
Yeah.
And what they have going on in Arizona, was it Kingsbury?
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, yeah.
Oh, man. I think Matt Jones coming out, do you think he is going to be like every other Alabama quarterback that has came out? Well, I wouldn't say every other Alabama quarterback that's came out, because Tua is doing great with the Dolphins.
Great to stretch.
Hey,
great to stretch.
Let's say great, because let's look at the weapons, one, and let's look at the things that's happening with the Dolphins. You have Preston Williams at receiver. You have Devontae Adams at receiver. You have a few things at the running back situation with Matt Breida, who had a great season with the 49ers.
You love saying great. He just be having, I know they're in the league, they're having good seasons. Hey, they're great. Great.
So as undrafted free agent, what he did with the 49ers in the playoffs.
It was good.
It wasn't great.
It was good. I mean, Raheem Mostert, he was kind of great. It was like, oh, that was great. Matt Breida, he was good. He was solid. But I think with the Dolphins, the reason why I say Tua isn't great right now, because he got benched twice. Like they pulled him twice to win the games. Like when it was winning time,
they
pulled him. They took him out and they put in Fitzpatrick to win the game.
But he's still a hell of a quarterback, man. He gives me day.
He's good. My thing is though now. Whether I mean, I don't know. Whether the problem is though with the NFL now, right or wrong, when quarterbacks come in, you're expected to be good off the bat. Because if you're not, then you get dudes like me saying you all right. You know what I'm saying? You get dudes like me saying you all right. I don't know.
Our life, then that expectation shouldn't be. If this is the position that you want to play your entire life, the expectation shouldn't be too much. Like that's how we see Lamar carry it with such ease, because that's what he wants to be.
Yeah.
So when I look at Tua, I'm like, man, okay, you know what's expected of you, so you're gonna have to persevere out of this because they are paying you.
Yeah.
And I know how you're working because you come from a system like Alabama and you have the talent.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I'm wholeheartedly. I believe in the weapons that they have. They just because Preston Williams got hurt again. You know, shout out to Preston Williams, Colorado State University.
Yeah. A little alumni.
Got a few guys out there. So shout out to him and shout out to Devontae Parker, who is from Louisville.
So, by the way,
I'm wholehearted. I believe in them. You know, they have a few holes on defense. You know, which everybody in the league has. You know, against these offenses nowadays, you can't do anything. But I love what.
Yeah, I think as far look like we might have lost Tay for a second, like he's coming back. Okay. Yeah, as far as like the Mac Jones thing, I think Mac Jones,
yeah,
I'd be scared to draft Mac Jones. I'm not gonna lie, because throughout the history of the league, taking quarterbacks, not mobile quarterbacks, because we're going to a mobile league, I think you can still be successful.
Yeah.
being a unmobile quarterback. Maybe not all the way, but I just seen Brady win a Super Bowl. So I think you can be successful being an unmobile quarterback if you have the talent. Not to say he's Brady, but whatever. But I think the problem is coming from Alabama, and it's the same problem Ohio State quarterbacks have, or that USC quarterbacks used to have back in the day, or Oklahoma quarterbacks used to have back in the day, is because you are surrounded by the best players at all times. Not to say Mac Jones wasn't nice. Like, he was nice in college. Every time he threw the ball, it looked like it was the perfect pass, right? But the problem was, dudes was wide open. like you had no window, you had no rush, no pass. No, Mac Jones, I swear he didn't get sacked all year. He didn't get sacked all year. Didn't feel
no
like
pressure.
Devontae Smith had the best year a receiver in college ever had, ever. Like he had the best year.
Total belief in every call. Total belief in every call.
That's what I'm saying. And it was just like, okay, I know once I, clap my hands, this ball get to me, Smitty's going to be open. Okay, if he's not open, Waddle's going to be open. But more like, okay, even when Waddle goes down, some other dudes don't even know about is going to end up being open, right? Like, so it didn't matter. It didn't matter. So that was the problem. That's the problem.
Basically, to put it all together, what you're saying, someone all over, he's not going to be anything in the NFL. He's going to take it. Bust. He's going to have the best of the best around him, but he's playing against all-star teams every single day. This is what it is every week. He's not going to be anything, just like every other Alabama quarterback.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because I want to get a young man a chance. But think about the history of the court. Like, think about the best quarterbacks in the league. Even some of these dudes we just named. Look at the schools that they went to. Patrick Mahomes went to Texas Tech. They wasn't that good. Russell Wilson went to Wisconsin and NC State. They wasn't never no football powerhouse. Steve McNair went to Alcorn State, HBCU. Donovan McNabb went to Syracuse. You know what I'm saying? Syracuse, damn Big East was back then. Cam Newton is the only one that went to like Auburn, but they're not like a quarterback factory. Lamar Jackson went to Louisville. Vic went to Virginia Tech. Dak went to Mississippi State. Like, these players, only one that went to like what's considered a powerhouse is Deshaun Watson, right? And the reason why, and you can go through those are just the black quarterbacks. All the quarterbacks in the league,
a powerhouse, who just I wouldn't say just now popped on the scene because when Brandon Dawkins was there, and it was beautiful times then as well, but. Right now, they've solidified themselves as beating Alabama the last couple of years, coming through, destroying teams every single year.
Who is this? You talking about LSU or
Clemson?
Clemson. Oh, yeah, Clemson. Yeah, but Clemson's just now getting there. But what I'm saying is though, that quarterbacks in the league don't normally come from the Ohio States and the Alabamas and stuff because you got the best of everything. Like, you have the best of everything. You never get hit. The dudes are always wide open. There's never anybody late on a route. Everybody's like the best of the best, right? So when you get to the league, especially if you drafted high, you're going to the worst of the worst. You're going to the top on one of them top 5 teams. It's normally one of the, besides like the Dolphins this year who got lucky, right?
It's crazy that they're going to the worst of the worst when it's really just the worst of the best.
Exactly. Well, yeah, the worst of the best if you win the league. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, you go into the worst of the best. But that's why it's so tough. That's why the Sam Bradfords bust out. That's why the Jamarcus Russells bust out. That's why all the Alabama quarterbacks bust out. A lot of the Ohio State quarterbacks bust out. Like, because you playing with such great talent at college and you going against dudes that are mediocre as far as college-wise or as far as compared to your team. They're not mediocre, but they're mediocre compared to your team. And then when you get to the league, it's a different ball game. Just like, you play college football, going from St. X to Colorado State, I'm sure it was like a huge adjustment, right?
A big jump. I mean, but let's not get things twisted. I did play as a freshman, but it was a big jump. But it was definitely a big jump. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the conversations that we having, and I want to specifically have this conversation before we get off. Now, we're talking about the black quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about the NFL taking the initiative that the NBA kind of takes and the players in deciding where they want to go and voicing their opinion about certain situations? Now, big thing, I seen Draymond came out with an interview the other day and they were trying to say he was pissed off, but I don't even think he was pissed off. I kind of just feel like he was telling his truth, and a lot of NFL and professional athletes' truth being that a lot of these fields that are mainly watched on a daily basis, being basketball and football, is dominated by 75% black people.
Yeah.
And be politically correct, African American, but I want to say black people because I feel like that's what we should focus on.
Yeah.
That's what we should focus on, especially during times like this. I just want your opinion, and where do you feel like things are going to go if the NFL players continue to take this stand? Now, I'm saying this because of specifically Deshaun Watson situation. Now, what's been displayed, and I wouldn't say it's like, blatant disrespect in your face, but it is, disregard and insensitive what they're doing towards him. Now,
Yeah.
What is your opinion?
So my thing is I honestly I love it, man, because first of all, it gives us topics to talk about on stuff like on platforms like this, and also, like I said, like here's the thing: Deshaun Watson, when he gets drafted, he has a job to perform, just like anybody else that works for any job. You're expected to perform, especially if I'm paying you a high salary, especially if I picked you high up in the draft, especially like if you're the quarterback, like you have to perform. He's held up his end of the bargain. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's a model citizen. He doesn't get in trouble. He doesn't get arrested. He doesn't have a bunch of stories flying up against him, a bunch of rumors or whatever. He does all of that. He does everything right. And he represents your organization, which is $1 billion franchise. He represented it in the right way. He's held up his end of the bargain. And then he signed a contract thinking that you were going to hold up your end. So if I hold up my end, then you're supposed to hold up your end. But if you don't, then I have the right to say, I want the hell out of here. You had an incompetent GM who was the head coach.
See, it's not like CEOs and the owners and the head coaches don't make these decisions every single day at the drop of a hat.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, you can resign or go play for another team or go coach for another team or whatever when you want to. So I get it, the players are under contract, but I can exercise my right, like you said, like the NBA players do, and say you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. Bill O'Brien, Mr. McNair, the other people that running the Texans, y'all letting the chaplain become the president. Y'all didn't y'all didn't interview any of the coaches. And then I asked for some of the say. As far as the GM pick or the head coaching pick, just to get my input. Hell, I am the franchise. Like we're watching you, the team, because of me, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the franchise net worth goes up 50 million or 60 or 100 million because y'all have me on the team. So you know what I'm saying? Like I do feel like I deserve a say. And you tell me, okay, Deshaun, or okay, Deontay, we're gonna talk to you before we make this hire. And then we don't let you in. We're gonna hire somebody without telling you. Nah, man, I want out of here. Y'all already screwed me over sending my best receiver to the damn Cardinals for 2 packs of Skittles. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you take him to the Cardinals. You send him to the Cardinals for 2 packs of Skittles and a pack of Trident layers, right? Like, I get nothing in return for that. Cool. What do I do with that? You take away my best weapon. What do? I throw for nearly 5,000 yards. I throw 33 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. I lead the league in passing yards. I'm a Pro Bowl, all pro selection.
I have my best season today.
Ever. I have my best season in the league
today, and you took my firepower away from me.
And we was one of the worst teams in the league, and I still balled out, right? And so now all I ask in return is have some say in who's going to be my next head coach. I think you should interview him. You don't interview nobody. I think I should have a say on who's going to be my next GM. You tell me, okay, cool, Deshaun, we're going to let you in, and you don't even tell me. You hire somebody without my back. So I want out. I want out. And so just in the comparison of the NBA, right? Like how the NBA guys are doing it.
Yeah.
People are saying like that's bad for the league, right? No, it's not bad for the league, because the thing is only a select few people can do this, right? If you are, the third string, running back on the Texans, you can't do this. You're not Deshaun Watson. But if you James Harden in the NBA, or if you Anthony Davis in the NBA, or if you Deshaun Watson, these are the guys that are perform at the elite level. Like not the good level. Good players can't really do this. But when you James Harden,
superb athletes.
Yeah, exactly. It's levels to this. So only so many dudes can do this kind of stuff. And if you have that capital, if you've leveraged yourself to be able to do something like this, then by all means, hell yeah, I'm with it. Like, because like I said, if you hold up your end of the bargain, they should have to hold up their end of the bargain too. Like it shouldn't just be a one-way street.
That's why Draymond Green, what he said wasn't at all off the charts.
No,
and they blew up, and everybody said, "Oh, the players are finally speaking now." No, I feel like this has been the thing in the NBA.
Yeah,
it's on a platform now, and NFL players. And when I say platform, I want to specifically speak about Twitter.
Yeah,
because that's where you get to see players actually interact from different leagues and speak, and you see a lot of NFL players chiming behind what Draymond said in support of Deshaun Watson, trying to figure out what situation is going to be best for him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And he should. The thing, what brought this to the forefront, what made this like a topic is LeBron James. And I want to give shout out to GOAT James, because the fact that when he made that move from Cleveland,
like number one.
Yeah, like GOAT James. Yeah, I didn't stutter. Yeah, like number one in basketball history, like over Jordan. Yeah, like that GOAT. Yeah, like GOAT James. Like GOAT James. But anyway, so the reason why he started this is because he and his team, when he went from Cleveland to Miami that first time, He said, okay, I've reached the pinnacle of basketball. I've won MVPs. I've been to the finals, but I can only do so much, right? Like now I need to go to a team that I can actually win a championship with, right? Like I can actually do something with. I can't do that in Cleveland. And so now he made it cool to team up with other players to go out and win rings. He did it. Kevin Durant did him one better. Paul George has done it a couple times. Kawhi Leonard has done it a couple times. Like we've seen that in the NBA. It's called player mobility. You're able to move around and to go to the best team that gives you the best chance of winning. He made it so popular. Now it's like the reason why that's so dope, the fact that he did that, is because now you're almost looked down upon if you stay with your team and take the money. Like if you do what Giannis did, you get called an idiot, right? It's like, yeah, Giannis, you got $250 million or whatever, but you ain't gonna never win a championship, right? Like because the other players are gonna keep moving around, huh?
He doesn't have a Robin. He doesn't have a.
But that's the thing. Exactly. So if he would have joined like the Miami Heat or try to get with the Lakers or try to get with any other team, right? Like that. So now you got guys like James Harden. I can't do nothing else in Houston. Goes to Brooklyn. Now they look like a finals favorite. You got Anthony Davis when he was in New Orleans. I can't do nothing with this. Goes to the Lakers. Now they look like a favorite. Kawhi Leonard, like I said. So now he's done that. And so now NFL players are like, yo, G, like if the organization fails me, they don't get me the talent that I need. You got Tom Brady, New England wasn't getting it done for me. I won 6 Super Bowls here, but they not getting the job done anymore. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna join the best team. I'm gonna join the best roster. I'm gonna go down to Tampa and join the best roster and win a ring.
That's a whole nother episode talking about Tom Brady and talking about the Buccaneers. And
that's fact. That's fact.
Because now how do you? That's a whole nother podcast. It's a whole nother podcast. I have to bring you on a Pro Life. We can talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation.
No doubt. Well, guys, we'll get out on this. Tay, we'll get on this. So you had your favorite and your number one black quarterback was Mike Vick. Once again, I'm talking to Deontay Clyburn. He is the host of a Pro at Life. Like I said, he was one of the best football players if you played football in the city of Louisville from 2009 to 2013. So during that it was really before that. Probably let's say about 2006 Little League or something. From 2006 to 2013.
I appreciate you, man.
The man was one of the best. It was like him. It was the group at Trinity, which is really good. We had some really ballers at Mayo, like Ron J. Morris and John Giddens and Jalen Kemp. They was really good. Solomon Logan. And then we had they had the studs at St. X. And all the dudes at Trinity is so many. I don't even want to get to like Ryan and Jason Hatcher and Jabari and all of them dudes. They was James, obviously. But anyway, it's Deontay Clyburn, one of the best football players I ever see. We're talking about the black quarterbacks. Tay, last word before we get out of here. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. But the last word before we get out of here on your list are some of the best black quarterbacks ever. Final word.
I'm going to definitely start with Michael Vick just because of what he did for the culture. Then I'm going Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and then what I think I'm definitely going to do. I'm going to take a play out of your book. I got to go Steve McNair. Okay. After our conversation, I'm sitting having a few conversations. I got to sit here and go Steve McNair. Let me see here and think. Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, Donovan's up there.
Those
are some of the best. Real quick, Eric Palmer. I don't know if you know Eric. Shout out to Eric. He said he was all right. Talking about that. He's all right. I just thought that was funny, man. I thought that was funny.
Man, shout out to Mel, man. Shout out to Mel, man. Definitely some of the fastest kids in the state. My little brother went to Mel, who's down at Howard ran track. You guys are definitely always bringing athletes through the city. Want to say y'all got some great guys coming out now. Nate Hobbs,
really good teams now. They have some really good teams. Recently, they've had some really, really good teams, some state champion teams coming out of there, and a lot of D1 players. So just really quick on my list, like I said, I have my list with the best. The top 5 on my best list was Mahomes, Russ, McNair, Lamar, and Cam Newton. Those were like the 5 best that but my 5 favorites were Lamar, Vick, Watson, Cam, and Mahomes. Those were my 5 favorite to watch when I cut on every Saturday. Once again, this is Deontay. What was that?
Go. I was just sitting here thinking. I'm thinking about the close, man. Because I gotta give kudos and props to Lamar and Cam specifically because right now and what Cam did, because I don't think what Cam did is talked about enough.
It's not. And then it gets disrespected by little kids at football camps. Like, what in the hell's going on with that?
Stuff like that, man. That man was the first unstoppable He was Superman. When
Yeah.
you put the TV on every Saturday and College Game Day came on, it was highlights of Cam Newton. I specifically remember him and Pat P playing and him dragging Pat P into the end zone.
Yeah.
And this is when Pat P and Julio was going at it every week on Saturday, and Cam Newton came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he took the world by storm. And I feel like he took the world by storm when he came into the league and became Superman. And then now that Lamar's in the league and doing what he's doing, he's giving you remembrance of Michael Vick. And they just want him to get over that hump.
Yeah.
To be the great player that he's going to be. And I believe with his hard work, he's going to get there. But just what they're doing right now, both of them single-handedly, and the rest of the black quarterbacks in the league. But just speaking on those two, because I didn't have them in my list, like I should have had them in my list.
Yeah.
But speaking of those two, specifically, I just feel like those guys are really holding those torches right now. And Russell Wilson as well, and doing what he's doing in Seattle with the 12th man and Pete Carroll. And just the rest of those guys is coming out. Kyler Murray included. So
yeah, and someone is throwing shade at us, man, because we can't fail to mention Warren Moon and like Randall Cunningham and those guys that were playing before we was born. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, another one. My bad, man. But there was some really good ones. Warren Moon is definitely on the list. Like he would be above Steve McNair if I'm including him on the list as well. So I got to shout out Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham.
I see a comment, man. Somebody was talking about our lifetime, and I guess to our age.
Yeah. I got it. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, we'll have Tay on here again, man, to talk about some more football and go back down memory lane and all the stuff that's happening in Louisville around that time. But this is the Black Boss Channel. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and check out the Pro at Life podcast. It's a really good show talking about, there's a lot of former athletes and what they do, after they graduate college, after they finish playing their sport. I'll give you a few quick, a few minutes or two if you want to talk about the Pro at Life podcast before we get off here, Deontay.
No, man, a Pro Life podcast, man, we just highlight the success and struggles that everybody struggles with every day after graduating college. So, that post-grad life, whether you're an athlete, whether college was for you or was not for you, and you decided to go into a music path, you decided to pick up a trade, whatever that is, you still had to persevere through something during those times. So everybody has a story, and I feel like those don't get highlighted enough in the regular community. We have a lot of things that we look at as for motivation from, big propaganda, social media, I would like to say, and sometimes it's either real or fake, and we don't really know. But what we do know, what is real, is people that's graduating and try to better their lives. And a lot of times it doesn't go as we plan. And when we hit that block, it's sometimes, especially in the black community, after you graduate college, it's like, I've done that. So now what?
Yeah, that's true, because I know that kind of hit me for a little bit as well. So I definitely can understand that. That's why I relate to those stories that I hear on your show all the time. Well, thank you guys for tuning in with us. We'll be sure to check out the Pro at Life podcast. And this is the Black Boss Channel. We'll see you guys next.